Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation 24/7. So today in this video I'm going to discuss about Fibonacci series. Now the Fibonacci series program is a very common interview question and program that is asked. So if you are going for any Java developer role or any automation engineer role in Selenium Java, so this might be a very common question that could be asked in the interview. So today I am going to show Fibonacci series using two ways. One using a normal for loop and another is basically using recursion loop, like recursion function. So let's start. So before writing the actual program, I always follow writing the algorithm, the steps, what to do. And before discussing the algorithm, it's always better to learn what is Fibonacci series. So Fibonacci series is basically a series of number which is just the addition of the previous two numbers. Like if I consider 0 and 1, so Fibonacci series starts with 0 and 1, and the next number is basically the summation of the previous two numbers. So 0 plus 1 is 1. The next number is 1 plus 1, that's 2. Then we have 1 plus 2, that's 3. Then we have 2 plus 3, that's 5. Then we have 3 plus 5, and that is 8. Next we have 8 plus 5, and that's 13. So the list continues like this. So Fibonacci series is basically summation of the previous two numbers. So in program, if the interviewer asks like print the first 5 Fibonacci series, then it should be printed like from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Sorry, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. The first 5 Fibonacci numbers. Okay. If the interviewer asks print me the first 8 numbers, I mean the first 8 digits of the Fibonacci series. So it starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So this program we are going to show, like I'm going to show in two ways. So first, let's start with the normal for loop, right? So we must always consider that Fibonacci starts from, the Fibonacci series starts from 0 and 1. So no matter whatever series we are going to print, this 0 and 1 should be there at the beginning of the Fibonacci series. So let's start. Now the algorithm for the first method, or rather the first way that we're going to follow, is the normal for loop. So what we have to do, we have to declare 3 variables like int a equals to 0, b equals to 1, and c equals to 1. We're going to consider that, right? A equals to 0, b equals to 1, c equals to 1, right? Why so? Because the first number always is 0 and 1, and we have considered the third number as 1. Okay, let's consider the third number as 1. Now we are going to start a for loop, a very simple for loop. So what we are going to do is we are going to start a for loop from int I equals to 1 till I less than equals to count, right? Less than equals to count. Now this count is basically how many times we are going to print. Is it 8 times? Like suppose if the count is 5, so my Fibonacci series will start from 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. 5 times it's going to print. If my count is 7, right? So my Fibonacci series will start from 0 and 1 and it will continue till 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times, like 7 numbers in the Fibonacci series it is going to print. So this is my count. Now this count I will be passing in the function. Okay, but yes, the loop will be starting from 1 till the count. That means from 1 till 5 or from 1 till 7. So we are going to show or basically give the logic in this way. So from 1 till the number, that is till the time you want to print this Fibonacci series, right? So then we are going to increase the value of I and then we are going to print the values. So in Java it's basically system.out.print. So we are going to print A, like we are going to print A, right? Now in this loop we are also going to change the value, because initially it will be printing A, which is 0, then the value of A is going to change. Okay, so what is going to happen? So the value of B will be assigned in A. Next, the value of C is going to be assigned to B, right? And then we're going to add both of these numbers A and B and store it in C. So at the very beginning it will be printing 0, which is basically this number. Then it's going to check what is the value of B. The value of B is 1, so 1 will be put into A. Then the value of C, so value of B is 1, it is going to, like, the value of A becomes 1. Next, the value of C is already 1, so this value of 1 is going to be put in C. I mean, this value of C is going to be put in B, so value of B becomes 1, and my A plus B is equals to 1 plus 1, which is 1 plus 1, which is basically 2. So this is going to be my value of C, right? So now it is going to put 1, which is basically this, then again 1, and then 2. So the loop continues like this, rather the digit printing continues like this till my count value. So it is going to start from 0, which is my A, then it is going to print, I mean, the value of B, which is 1, it is coming to A, and the value of C, which is already 1, which I've taken as 1, is going to be printed in B. And then every time it is going to add the previous two numbers, A and B, and accordingly it will be put in my, and it will be coming in my into my series till I want, right? So just printing the series, right? So now after that, what we are going to do, is pretty simple. We are going to print the numbers. Print the numbers like in the main method. We're going to call the function and print the numbers. So this is the first way. Let's start. So I already have my IDE open, so I am using Eclipse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create new num basics. Like, let's create a new package. Right, so created this. Now I'm going to create a new class which is Fibonacci without recursion. Okay, so just printing the Fibonacci series without recursion, right? So I want to have a main function, so creating the main function, and let's start. So first let me create the function. Okay, so I'm just going to create a method which is, say, public static just a second. Okay, so I'm going to print it. Now this is going to be my function. So I'm going to print Fibonacci. So print Fibonacci sequence, right? Now here I'm going to declare this count. I'm going to pass this count variable in this method, I mean in this function, right? And this is going to decide till how much, like till how many times I'm going to print the Fibonacci series. Okay, like up to how many digits. Okay, so this is basically that particular count value, right? So as discussed, what are we going to do first? We're going to declare three numbers, I mean three variables, right? Not declare, we're going to define them. We're going to define int a equals to 0, we're going to declare a equals to 0, then int b equals to 1, okay, and then int c equals to 1, right? Now we are going to start with that basic for loop. So from int I equals to 1 till the count value, it is just going to print, nothing else. So very simple loop. So we're going to start a for loop. So int I equals to 1 till I less than equals to count value and I plus plus, right? What are we going to do? We are going to do something, and that is basically, first we are going to print the value of a, okay, and that is basically going to be my Fibonacci series. So initially it will be printing 0, and then accordingly the numbers will be shifted according to the variable, and then it will be printing my sum. So system.out.println, right? So it is going to print my a and accordingly the other numbers. So okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign b into this a, okay, then I'm going to put my c value, I'm going to put my C value in B. And then the summation of A and B, which is basically this and this, I'm going to put it under C. So first my value of B gets entered into A, then the value of C gets added into the B, and then the value of A gets stored into A, then the value of C gets stored into B, and after that the summation of this gets stored into C, and after that again the loop continues from the next part. Okay, so initially it is going to print 0, right? So my function is completed. Now what I'm going to do in the main, I'm going to declare what basically I'm going to, like, from the user level what they're going to enter, and accordingly it will be scanning. So I will be entering system.out.println, and I will be asking up to how many numbers do you want to print the Fibonacci series, right? So up to how many numbers you want to print the Fibonacci series, right? And you can add a question mark as well. So then we are going to use the scanner class to scan that particular count value. Right, now it's showing under red. Why? Because we have not imported the package for scanner, which is import java.util. So scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now what we are going to do, we are going to declare the value. Now this value is basically my count. Okay, so this value I'm going to, from the scanner object, I'm going to take it as next int, so it will be taking it as the input as an integer value. Now what I'm going to do, this particular function in which I'm passing this count value, so I will be using this function and I will be passing the value. So whatever value I'm entering, maybe it's 5, 8 or 10 or 2 or 1 or 3, whatever, that gets passed in this parameter of this function, and basically this is what count is. So now my actual method starts. So let's run the program now and check whether it's running or not. Okay, so it says up to how many numbers do you want to print the Fibonacci series. So let's say 5. So when I entered, it says 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. So 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times I am printing the number, right? Let's run it again. Up to how many numbers do you want to print the Fibonacci series? Let me enter 9. So now it says 9 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 numbers, and it is 0, 1, 1 plus 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 5, 13, and 13 plus 8, 21. So pretty simple, right? So before that, let me again explain you the logic. So what's happening is, at the very beginning, we are declaring A as 0, B as 1, C as 1. So in the for loop, starting from I equals to 1 till the count, we are first printing the value of A. So first what happens is basically this 0 gets printed. Why? Because A is 0. So system.out.print A, 0 gets printed. Now the value of b, which is 1, gets assigned to a, so the value of a is now 1, right? C is basically 1, that 1 gets stored into b. Now what happens? 1 plus 1, that is a plus b, gets stored into c. So value of my c is basically 2. Again, when I equals to 2, so my value of 1 gets printed here, because initially my value of a is 1. Okay, so like this it is going to continue. Okay, so the first number, then the second number gets assigned to the second variable, the second number gets assigned to the first variable, then after that we're going to add the number. So this is just the logic of Fibonacci series without recursion. Now let's discuss about recursion. But before discussing recursion, let's understand what recursion is, right? So recursion, okay. So let me just remove this. So what is recursion? Recursion is basically a function that calls itself. Like suppose I have void add, so my return type, it will be returning add. So a function that calls itself is recursion, like it's calling itself. So how do we use that to print the Fibonacci series? So what we're going to do is we are going to write the algorithm first, and basically the first thing that we have to understand is, before even writing the recursion, let us understand how we will use recursion. How we will use recursion for this, for printing these steps, printing this Fibonacci series. So before that, what we are going to do is we are going to understand like 0, 1 and 2. So suppose if this 2 is equals to n, okay, so what is 1? 1 is basically n minus 1. So if n equals to 2, 1 is 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 0 is n minus 2, right? Now in a more specific way, let me explain you. So the Fibonacci series goes like this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3 and 5, right? So suppose we are considering n equals to 5, right? N equals to 5. So n minus 1 equals to 5 minus, n minus 2 equals to 5 minus 2, which is basically 3, right? Then n minus 3 is equals to 5 minus 3 is equals to 2, right? Then n minus 4 1, n minus 5. So what you can see is I'm basically using this n everywhere. Okay, that means I'm using this n function everywhere. Okay, so if this is function of n, this can be called as function of n minus 2, then this becomes my function of n minus 3. Okay, so I'm basically using the recursive function. That means I'm using n. Okay, so this logic we are going to apply in our recursion, right? So let's start. Now the second way is basically recursion. So using recursion, how we are going to print so the first thing that we have to consider is if n equals to 0, it should return 0, because if n is 0 means there is no Fibonacci series, so it's 0 only, right? Now if n equals to 1, or if I consider n equals to 2, so it should return 1. Right, return 1, because Fibonacci series starts with 0. Okay, so if it's 0, then it should return me 1, or else if the number is 1, like 0 1 2, then it should return me 1. Okay, now the logic that we are going to apply is, suppose this function is, say, Fibonacci recursion. Okay, Fibonacci recursion, and we are passing the integer n, right? We're passing the integer n. So here we are going to return, we are going to return the same function name, we are going to return the same function name n minus 2 plus n minus 1. So from n till n minus 2 and then n minus 1, it is going to return me. So n minus 2 plus n minus 1 is basically n, right? So the summation of the previous number as well as the summation of the previous two numbers is basically n minus 2 and n minus 1, like the logic what I've showed for here. So if it's 0 1 and 2, and if I consider n equals to 2, so n minus 1 is basically 2 minus 1, which is basically 1, and n minus 2 is 2 minus 2, which is basically 0. So it is going to print 0 1 and 2, and that is what is basically what I showed you. So that same logic is going to be like this. So n minus 1 means the previous number, n minus 2 is the previous of previous number. Okay, and the summation of that basically returns my Fibonacci series basically. So this logic we are going to apply, and after that what we are going to do, we are going to print a for loop, similarly like we did for previous case, but here it is from int I equals to 0 till I of the maximum number. Okay, the maximum number is basically the count value, like up to how much you want to print the number. Okay, So accordingly we are going to use that, and we are going to print it. So we are going to print Fibonacci recursion of every ith value, right? So this is the simple logic for Fibonacci recursion, nothing else. Only you have to understand this particular thing, like 0, 1, 2. So if n equals to 2, so n minus 1 is equals to this, and n minus 2 equals to that. Okay, so if my maximum number here is like till how much I want to print the number, so up to that it will be printing up this function with the parameter, and the parameter says n minus 2 plus n minus 1, right? So let's start. Now coming to the code, so I'm going to create new class. So say Fibonacci with recursion, right? So Fibonacci with recursion, so just going to paste that logic. Excuse me. So just going to use that logic. So public static int Fibonacci recursion, right? Okay, Fibonacci recursion. So this void I will be changing, like it should be returning me int only. Now I will be changing, as I will be giving the return type, so this int will be accepted. Okay, it is going to return me int value, right? So, and one thing I forgot to mention, basically Fibonacci numbers are basically, it contains only int values. Okay, so Fibonacci contains only int values, so there is no point of decimal things. Okay, because it starts from 0, so 0 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 1 3, so it's continuing with integer values. Okay, so coming to the program, so here you can see, so if n equals to 0, it is going to return me return 0, right? If it is going to return me 1, because I want to print the Fibonacci series. So if n is 0, so it will print only 0. If n is equals to 1 or 2, so it is going to print 0 and 1, right? So this is basically that return, actually it's returning that. So now return this thing, right? So as you can see, whenever I return this Fibonacci recursion n minus 2 plus n minus 1, so it accepted this int. Okay, because I'm going to return an integer value out of this, right? Now coming to the main method. So coming to the main method, that same thing, I'm going to copy and paste here. So up to how many numbers you want to print it. So instead of value, I'm just adding here max number, like up to how many. So max number means maximum number of digits or series you want to print. Okay, so and then from 0 to the maximum number it is going to just print this. Okay, so for int I equals to 0 till I less than max number I plus plus, it is basically going to print. So I'm just using this. Okay, so it is going to return me this Fibonacci recursion of very ith value, right? So it is going to return me this function for every ith value. So from I equals to 0, so when I will be 0, that means Fibonacci recursion 0. So the parameter that is going to pass here is 0, int n 0. Now if n is 0, it is going to return 0. So it is going to print 0 only, right? Now if I'm going, when I will be 1, right? So 1, it is going to return 1. So when n equals to 1 or 2, then it will return 1. So 0, 1. Now when I will be equals to 3, then 3 will be passed here and 3 will be passed here. So when n equals to 3, so 3 minus 2, which is basically 1, and 3 minus 1, which is basically 2. So again the Fibonacci recursion of 2, okay, and Fibonacci recursion of 1. So this is that thing that is going to happen. Okay, so very simple. Now let's run this program and check. It's up to how many numbers? 5. Okay, Fibonacci series of 5. Okay, let me make it remove this ln. So very simple. The recursion is also very simple. So again, if I'm saying 6, okay, don't know why it's coming. Okay, because of this ln. Okay, again let me print 6. Okay, Fibonacci series. Okay, got it. So first 6 numbers are basically 1 2 3 4 5 6, 0 1 1 2 3 5. So the same logic whatever I showed here for recursion, so that is basically going to happen, right? So here 2, like if the value of I equals to 0 to maximum number 6, so from I it is going to pass here first with 0, it is just checking what is happening here, and then with 1 it is just checking what is happening here, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and accordingly it is printing. Okay, so whenever my n value will be 0, it will return 0. Okay, and whenever n value will be 1 or 2, okay, 1 or 2, right? So that time it is going to return me 1, and accordingly if the value of n is more than 2, so it is going to add. So this is pretty simple with recursion and without recursion. So please watch my videos and do comment out if anything you are not understanding, or any topic you want to any topic you want me to make any more videos. So please do say me, and please do keep subscribing and liking, commenting and sharing my videos, so that will be helping you as well as your friends for learning these videos or getting an idea, so that they will not be facing any problem in the interviews. So thanks for watching. Keep subscribing. Automation 24/7. Thanks a lot.